Hello big people, Mike here. Today's going to be a quick video about my experience using the TCL tele-conversion lens by Fujifilm for your X100 cameras. And this one is the Mark II, which costs around $350 US. And I've been using this ever since I got my X100VI. So I just wanted to share some of the pros and cons that I experienced while I was using. Hopefully it will help you guys decide if you guys want to purchase or not want to purchase this tele-conversion lens. So first of all, my main concern was the image quality. I didn't know if it would affect my image quality at the end by using the tele-conversion lens. But long story short, I am somewhat of a pixel peeper, which I try not to be. But when I was using the tele-conversion lens, I didn't really see significant quality loss on my videos and photos. So that was probably #1 relief. I'm pretty sure there is some kind of a quality loss because obviously having more glass in front of a lens can't be a good thing. Obviously it can't be 100% same as not using the tele-conversion lens. But overall, I didn't have any problems with my photos and videos. Everything looked crisp, so that kind of checked out, which was probably my biggest concern. And another good thing about using the tele-conversion lens, by the way, this is the Mark II. I don't know how Mark I is gonna act because I never owned it. But for Mark II, at least, when I just screw onto my X100VI, the settings of the camera will automatically switch to tele-conversion lens, which is pretty convenient because you don't have to change anything or fiddle around on your settings in order to use the tele-conversion lens. It's just simple as you just screwing onto your camera. I don't know about you guys, but I am pretty concerned about weather sealing, even though, yes, I don't really go into like a crazy storm to shoot it, but I always wanted to keep my camera dust free. So I always have an adapter, and then on top of that adapter, I do have a filter on, either that can be black promise or a UV filter. But if you are using this tele-conversion lens on your X100, it will automatically make it into a weather sealed because it will cover your whole lens, which is basically acting like your filter plus adapter. And going back to those output, when you actually bring those files back into Lightroom or just looking at the file, the actual metadata shows up as 33mm, which is a 50mm equivalent. So the fact that you can actually distinguish which file was shot with the tele-conversion lens and which files did not, it actually helps a lot. And last but not least, it's just having an option to change your 35mm focal length to a 50mm on a fixed camera is, I think, just too good. And it's not just like a digital zoom or zooming in, and you're actually getting the full compression of a 50mm and aperture. So for $350 to get another focal length, it was a no-brainer for me. So now, let's talk about some of the cons. Some of them might be a deal breaker for you guys. So let's start off with something that is least important, I guess, in my opinion. So first one is the balance of the camera. This lens is not a cheap lens. You can actually feel the decent amount of weight to it. And if you add this to your X100, it will turn into a front heavy camera. And this is a problem because for some people who shoot with one-handed, when your camera is front heavy, it's gonna be really hard to change your settings while holding with your one hand. And if you're shooting long enough, your wrists might hurt. And the second problem, it won't really affect me because I don't really use OVF that much. But those of you who like to use OVF on your X100 series camera, once you attach this lens, your view on your OVF is going to be covered probably 1/4 of the bottom right corner because of the fact that this lens is pretty thick. It will cover the bottom right corner of your OVF, so it will block some of your views. So I don't know how much you guys use OVF on the X100 series camera, but if you guys do, it is definitely going to affect your OVF visibility. The next one also does not bother me that much. This lens did not come with a lens hood. So in order to attach a hood, you guys will probably have to find a screw-on hood that will fit the 67mm filter thread. But the next one is I'm not really fine with, which is the flare. Because like I mentioned, we are adding more glass in front of a lens. So there are multiple more glasses. So when you actually see like a flare on your image, it's gonna show multiple flares, not just one clean flare. So I don't know how much you guys can tolerate flare, but it's something that you guys have to consider if you guys shoot towards the sun a lot. And the next problem is probably the biggest problem that I had using the teleconversion lens, and that is not able to use the flash with the teleconversion lens on it. You can actually use it, it will flash, but the problem is because this thing is sticking out too much, it is going to hit or block the flash that is coming out from your X100 series. So if you take a photo with a flash with this teleconversion lens on it, you'll see that bottom, I don't know, 1/5, I don't know how much actually, but it will be just dark because it will block all the light coming from the flash. And for some people who uses like, you know, those thick hood or some stylish hood, those will also block those flash anyways. So, and then last but not least, the form factor changes. It definitely becomes bigger. And one of the main reasons that I love X100VI or X100 camera is the form factor, where I can just shove it into a small bag or stuff like that. But once you attach this lens, it does get pretty big. So that's something that you guys have to consider. So overall conclusion, I do like this conversion lens. The fact that I do have an option to have a 50mm equivalent lens on my X100 is just thankful in a sense. And I've been religiously using it and I like it, and I don't know, I don't think I have anything more to say. I think it was totally worth $350. So that's it for me today. Hopefully you guys liked my video. If you guys did, please give me a like and subscribe if you guys want to see more camera related videos in the future. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.